Making a good website doesn't mean you have to be a professional. You just need to have the right skills to create one. Welcome back to my channel, and in today's video we're going to be creating this really simple KFC website in Figma. If you want more videos like this, don't forget to smash that subscribe button and tell me what you thought of this video in the comments below. Let's get started. First and foremost, you need to go over to your Figma and open a frame. Now I chose MacBook Pro 16. Now click on the frame and go over to Layout Guide. Click on Grid, change it to columns, and make the count 12, because that's how much we need. Make the margin 156, and make the gutter 35. Next thing we need to do is add our logo. So I have my KFC logo right over here. Now you can adjust the size of your logo a little bit, and you can also change the background color. Now I have a specific background color that I want to use, but you can just keep it white if that's what you prefer. Now we're going to add the nav bar. To create the nav bar I made in the example, you need to click on R for rectangle and create a rectangle, obviously. Now you need to make the corner roundings 100 and make the background the same color as the frame. There. So once you've done that, it's understandable that I cannot really see my rectangle, so I'll just fix that. Sorry about the wait. As you can see, there is a bit of faint white. Now the thing I learned is that don't make the background color of the rectangle the same as the frame. That's the mistake I made. Now if I remove the guidelines, you will be able to see it quite a bit right there. Anyway, I need to add the guidelines again because that would be an essential need for us. Now put it in the center by just clicking on the position bar here and make it wider depending on the amount of navigation option you're inserting. Now create another rectangle and no need to move it, just make it a bit small. Now make it red. Once you're done with that, you have to add your text. Now I have my typography right over here, so I can have the font without trying to search for hours. Put it in. And the font I used, if you're ever wondering, was Rubik. So if you want a similar font to mine, just go to your typography, click on this drop down over here and search Rubik. Make your text a bit bigger by clicking on K, Shift and drag. And I suggest that you should make it white as well. Rename your text to home. And do the same for the other ones. But this time, don't change the color. So Ctrl D, put it in, and change the color to black. And also make this a bit smaller because I feel like it's too big. Okay, I fixed that, and now you have to duplicate it and change the color to black since the background is white. Now rename this page About and do the same for the rest, but you have to name it differently. You don't have to copy mine, you can rename it Gallery, Update, anything you want. But if you just want to copy my model, you can you can use the same navigation text like mine. Finally now, I'm going to add contacts. Contacts is a really important navigation tool because it lets your user interact without having to have face-to-face contact. And it also gives them a quicker review of your website. Now we're going to group this together and center it. Once you're done with that, we're going to add those three little icons that we saw at the side of the page. So get your circle. The quickest way to do is click on O on your keyboard and make it smaller so that it can fit through the tiny edge. Or if it still doesn't fit, you can make your navbar smaller. I'm just going to make mine a bit bigger. Now we're going to add the color white in the background. We're going to add 3 icons or anyone depending on your choice. We're going to add a search icon, a heart icon, and a cart icon. So those are the icons I'm going to do. Done with that, we're going to create another rectangle. So click on R, create a rectangle, and color it a bit light pink or any of your choice, as I said again. Now we're going to write meal deals because that's the KFC meal we're talking about. So meal deals. Put it inside the button. And you can make it wider if it doesn't fit, of course. We're going to make it a bit bold. So go over to typography, click on the drop down that says regular, and you can make it as bold as you need. Once you've gotten that specific type of boldness, we're going to color the meal deals over here. There we go. I'm just going to make this color a bit lighter and a bit more red. Now group those 2 objects together and we're going to get started on the main. Right click, go to iconify, and now you have to create 5 stars so that the user can see the rating of the meals. You can choose any type of star, but don't add the S because then it's going to show a lot of stars at the same time. Import as a frame. And then you're going to remove it out of the frame. That's what I like to do because it gives you more flexibility. You don't have to be going from drop down to drop down all the time. You can just focus on one thing instead of the frame. Now we're going to duplicate this 5 times and also make it bigger because not everybody can see that. Go and put it at the edge of your margin and duplicate it 5 times. Once you're done with that, we're going to group it together. Now, go on a different space on your canvas. Let me just duplicate my head in here. Oops. And now we're going to have the names of our last meal deals that we saw in the model. So lunch meal deal, family meal deal, and last but not least, party meal deal. Now we're going to adjust the colors a little bit and make it a bit red. Right click and click on frame selection. Now let the frame box only be around the lunch meal deal. And don't forget to clip content. The reason why we do this is so that when it transitions, it looks like we're scrolling. So it creates a scrolling effect on the landing page. Put it at the edge of your margin yet again. Underneath, we're going to add the price because, of course, we need the price for something we're going to buy. Move down a little bit and create the price. I have to duplicate my subheading for this. Control D. And now we're going to create the price. It can be any price. Again, we're going to do the same things as we did to the headings. Adjust the colors. Make a frame selection. Click content. And let it only be around the first bit of text. Put that inside your frame. There we go. Now we're going to add a circle in the background. Oops. And we also need to center this a bit. So put it to the edge. Oh, it's already at the edge. The thing that I really need help with is centering it, but it's also at the edge. So exactly in the center across, but it's still at the edge so that you can know whether it's at the middle or it's somewhere completely out of space. Now we're going to create a circle, a big one, any size, but not outside the margin. Make it red. Now go over to effects, not drop shadow, but layer blur, and make it very blurry, so maybe 300. Yeah, that will do. Or if you want to make it even more blurry, make it 400. Now we're going to add our first image right over here. So this image will be our lunch meal deal. So make that bigger. If you ever want to remove the background of an image, you have to go to the website I use all the time, remove background. It really helps me to remove the background easily. But it has to be JPG or PNG, or else it just won't work. Now, right click. No, not right click, sorry. Click on R and make a rectangle. Now, create that rectangle's corners to be 100 so that they're very rounded. And make it red again. Now, click on T and write order now. Order now. I'm just going to find a font I was using before because this isn't the one. And I'm going to make it a bit bold, so probably medium. Make the color of that text red and group it. Control G. Now duplicate that button and write in this one see more so that they can explore what other items there are apart from the meal deals, because KFC has a lot of items. Now make the background to be white, the rectangle, make it white, meaning that of course you always also have to make the text black because white on white won't work at all. We're going to stretch it a bit so that we can add our icon. So go over to Iconify yet again and search arrow. And it has to be a right arrow because that's the direction we're looking for. Make the color of it black. Now, if you didn't notice, there's this little color palette right here at the side. And all you have to do is click this drop down so that you don't have to go all the way to the color over here and just click on the one you need. So import as frame, remove it from the frame, like I always do, and make the arrow bigger. Make it bigger, bigger. Now if your arrow is too thin, go over to stroke and make it a bit bigger. I mean thicker. Now I'm repeating bigger over and over again. And now group the arrow to the button. So shift and group. Now we're going to group all of this together. So all of this, meal deals, and group them together. Don't forget your image as well. Now if you ever feel like they're a bit too big, click on K and make them smaller. The reason you have to click on K is because even if the text is in a group, it's vital for it to click on K. Now I'm explaining it again. Because the text will still react the way it will if you do it normally. And that's what annoys me the most. But anyway, moving on. We're going to create 3 little boxes at the bottom. So click on R, another rectangle. In fact, this image is too big. Make that smaller. Duplicate, duplicate, and there you go. Now make the background of this white. So completely white. Now make the border radius 30. And here we're going to add your images. Now the reason for this is so that you can see the 3 main items. So we're going to duplicate the image and bring it right over here. Make this image bigger. And write the name of it as well. Because you can't just have an image slapped on there like it means nothing. We're going to duplicate the stars right over here. And let that group be on top of the rectangle. So right click and bring to the front. I meant the stars should still be brought to the front. Bring to front. Is this even working? I'll have to see what's going on, so I'll be right back. Okay, I found the error just because I had to go here instead, because sometimes it glitches. So now we're going to write the text of it, and I'm just going to use this really small text right over here. We'll also make it a bit bold. So, lunch, meal deal, meal. Let me just make it all caps. Lunch, meal, deal. And I have to make it smaller. So enter. There we go. Now we're going to make this a bit bold. So about this bold. And don't forget to change the color. Now we're going to do this for the rest of the rectangles, but we're just going to add a different name and a different image each time. So I'll see you once that's done. Okay, once you're done with that, you're going to bring the first one, the one that we're currently on, the lunch meal deal, up a bit. Now you're going to add a drop shadow. So click on effects and drop shadow. I'm going to make the blur 10 so that it's visible to the audience that you've selected this specific one. Now, over here, we're going to add 2 little icons. I feel like I have to shift this to the edge a little bit more. So create a circle and make that circle smaller. Now we're going to make it bigger again, duplicate it, and make them both white, completely white. Now go to Iconify, and then click on the right arrow you used previously. Import as a frame, even though we're going to remove it from the frame. Once you've done that, you don't need to get another arrow. All you need to do is flip it horizontally. Now, of course, we have to make this bigger because this is far too small. Duplicate and flip it. And put it in the next circle. Once you've done that, you have to group them separately. I nearly forgot to say that. The reason we're grouping them separately is because when we're prototyping them, they're going to move in different directions anyway. Now we're first done with the first frame, so the rest of the frames is going to be pretty easy. Duplicate your first frame and create some space between those two. Now click on the lunch meal deal, double click, and use your up arrow key to make it scroll. See what I mean? That's the reason I said that you have to click the content so that I can create a scrolling effect. And don't forget to do the same thing with your price. Now we're going to bring this down, remove the effect, and make the other one have the effect. So bring it up a little and let it have an effect. So 10. Also, I forgot to say, go back to your last frame and make this arrow gray. Because when we're prototyping it, it's going to say that you cannot scroll back from this frame. Because if we only have 3 frames, what's the point of scrolling back? We're not going to scroll back to this frame. Also, can't forget that we have to change the image. So, the first meal deal, will be replaced with the second meal deal. And you shouldn't forget to group it to the circle as well, so that your layer panel can be neat and organized. Okay, found it. Now we're just going to group those two. And since you know what to do with the second frame, you probably already know what to do with the third frame. You're just repeating the same pattern. Once you're done with that, it's finally time to prototype. So, go over to your first frame. The lunch meal deal and everything will also be prototyped. There will be a lot of things that will be prototyped. So click on your family meal deal, link it to the actual frame, and create the animation to be smart animate, and make it gentle. And 100 milliseconds, 1,000 milliseconds. And no need to change it for the rest of the linking because Figma automatically saves it. Now, once you've done prototyping the buttons underneath, you have to prototype the meal deals text. So, put it from frame 1 to frame 2, and we're not just going to leave it gentle anymore. We're going to make it custom visa. I'm sure custom visa was somewhere here. Oh yes, right here. Silly me. And stretch it to the edge or near the edge. Make it like a twist, something like this. I'll make it 1,200 milliseconds. And do the same for the rest. Okay, once you're done with the prototyping, you can go to the massive screen, which will show the whole screen, or the flow. I'm just going to go to flow like I always do because it loads faster. And as you can see, it loaded instantly, luckily. So you can navigate through all of them. And as you can see, the text moves like a scroll bar, and it is absolutely magnificent. So making a website look good doesn't mean you have to use professional skills and be on a professional team. All you need are the right skills and to know the right thing to do. Also, you might notice the guidelines aren't on there and you might think, oh, it must be an error. The guidelines are not supposed to be on there. They're just there to guide you through your design. Now, as you can see, it already looks good without the guidelines, and that was the expectation. If you want more videos like this, tell me in the comments below. And if you like this one, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and let's get to 100. Also, what's your favorite KFC meal? Write it in the comments below and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!